Okay, this video is meant for those of you that need a little extra help getting started on 3-7 Part 1's homework. Okay, so um, we will go through a couple of examples here with absolute values. So first one, number 1 on the page should say the absolute value of b equals 2/3. Okay, these are the easiest ones. This is saying the distance from 0 has to be 2/3. So what on a number line, distance from 0 is 2/3. So the answer to the ones like this are simply b is 2/3, right? That's 2/3 away. And b is negative 2/3. If you get something like that, it's always the positive and negative version of that, and that's it. Okay? So let's do a little bit harder one. Let's go down to number 5. Number 5 has the absolute value of x minus 5 equals -1. Since this is not in the absolute value symbols, we're going to solve this like we would solve any other equation. So we're going to undo that first. So we're going to add 5 here and add 5 over here. So now we have the absolute value of x equals +4. Super important that that's positive because all that's left is an absolute value symbol. If it was negative here, we'd have to say it was no solution. Okay, so now we have the same thing we had up here where we just have the absolute value equals a number and it's a positive number. So we know that this answer is x equal 4 is 4 away from 0, and the other number 4 away from 0 is -4. So these are our two answers here. All right. Let's skip down to number 7. So now number 7, this is different because this whole thing is in the absolute value, r minus 9. Not this one wasn't, so we had to start by solving it. And this equals -3. Well, since everything is inside the absolute value symbols and the answer on the other side is negative, already we don't have to solve anything. We know this is going to be no solution. We cannot have negative distances. So that one's easy peasy. Okay, so let's move on to one that's not going to be no solution like that. So number 8 has c plus 3 in the absolute value symbols is equal to 15, and that one is positive. So the way we solve them, if they are all in the absolute value symbols and it's positive, is we have to split them up and we have to solve for the positive answer and the negative answer. So we really have to solve c plus 3 equal 15, and we got to solve c plus 3 equal -15. Okay, so again, easy solving here. We're going to subtract 3 from both sides. C equal 12 now, and we'll subtract 3 over here from both sides, and we get c equal -18. And that is our answer. We just put an and in between there, and so we know these are what we get. C equal 12 and c equal -18. All right, nexty. Hopefully you're understanding as we go. Let's move down to number 11, which again looks a little bit different. We have 3 times d inside the absolute value symbols, and then we have a -2 on the outside. Now, when you get stuff that's on the inside and the outside, I want you to picture it as if this is a whole quantity, as if it looked like this. Now, you're not going to solve it. Would be like -2x equal 4. It would be like solving that. So the first thing we would do to solve this is divide by -2. Because that's what would be what we would do here, right? And then we cancel that. We have now in absolute value 3d equal -2, like that, right? 4 divided by -2. Okay, so now everything that's left to solve is inside the absolute value symbols. So, but our answer is negative. So what does that mean? It's just like up here where this has got to be no solution again. Can't have that. All right. Let's see how this one is different, though. This one looks very similar, doesn't it? Same thing again. The first thing we have to do is imagine that it looks like this, -3x equal -6. Well, what would be the first thing you would do to solve that? You would divide by -3, right? We would do this. Boop. So that's going to be the first thing we do to solve this. We're going to divide by -3 and divide by -3. This time we have absolute value of 2w equals now a negative divided by a negative should give us a +2. Okay, now you go to the next part, which we did up here, where we have to split it up like we did in number 8. So now we have to solve 2w equal 2, and we have to solve, oh, sorry, that was a bad spot to put that, but that's okay. 2w equal negative 2. Maybe I should do this in separate sections. I'll solve it in black here. Okay, so we're going to solve each of these. So we're going to divide by 2 here and get w equals 1. And if you divide by 2 here on our other one, we get w equal negative 1. And these are our two answers. Cool? All right, one last challenging one. Let me just double check on here that this is what this one says for number 11. Oh, I'm missing something. I knew I was. All right, so not 11, I'm sorry, 15. So what we're going to do is I'm going to replace this because I did miss part of it. So this one should say the absolute value of 3f plus 0.5 minus 1 equals 7. Okay, so to solve this one now, this is like the x right here, minus 1 equals 7. So what we're going to do first is imagine that we're solving it like this, right? So x minus 1 equals 7. Well, the first thing we would do to solve that is we would add 1. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to add 1 and add 1. So now we have, in the absolute value symbols, 3f plus 0.5 equals 8. Okay, now everything's in the absolute value symbols, and our answer is positive, so that means that we're going to have to split this up and solve two equations. So what we're going to split it up into is the positive and negative. And I am a little bit running out of space here, so I'm going to do this on like a separate sheet and kind of put this underneath it. Okay, so we're going to split this into 3f plus 0.5 equal positive 8, and 3f plus 0.5 equal negative 8, and we're going to solve each of them. Okay, so first thing we would do is subtract 0.5 from both sides. 3f then would equal 7.5, and then if I do it over here, I have 3f equal negative 8.5. And then the next move that we would have to make is we would have to divide each of those by 3. And so you guys will have a calculator of your own out here. I'm going to have mine out. So if I divide this by 3 and divide this by 3, f equals, okay, let's go, 2.5 here. And if I divide this one by 3 and this one by 3, negative 8.5. Oops, let's clear that out. 8.5 negative divide, not times, hold on. 8.5 negative divided by 3 equals, and this one is f equals 24. Whoa, I just times that again. That is not right. I must have pressed that wrong again. Negative 8.5 divided by 3 equals. Okay, there we go. So f equal negative 2.83 repeating. So these are our two answers for this one. It is okay to get decimals in these as well. Okay, hopefully you guys found that helpful to you. Today's assignment is to do the front side of the page. So if you have any other questions, please see me or email me.